with show host Wood.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pay Me No Mind. Actually, today is kind of one of my favorite series that I stumbled across, actually. But it's another Hoops and Hops.
Hoops and Hops?
Hoops and Hops. And I got my co-pilot here, Mr. G Caso, or as you know him on Twitter, at Greg Raps. What's going on with you, man?
I'm cool, man. I appreciate you having me over to your spot. And everybody also say hello to Apollo the Lab. He's out here chilling with us.
Yeah, you're probably going to hear some words from, some input from Mr. Apollo today. He is about an 18-month old lab, so, you know, I can't control him. But, like, we are moving Hoops and Hops. We're doing this on a Friday night instead of Sunday. I had some, I actually have an interview in the can for as our guest for this week's show. And then we're also going to get into some more familiar territory. We're going to talk about a little bit of Ray Donovan, since that's one of the shows that we watch at the same time. Well, not together. not that anything would be wrong with that, you know. But
live your life,
right? But we follow this. We follow this show more or less. And then also we have. So I have my guest, Gus Stathis, from a local restaurant / it's just beer, everything in there. But it's called Ollie's Place out in Centerville, Ohio. Then we're going to get into some NBA talk. Today we're going to touch on MJ. He was somewhere else and somebody asked him about whether or not he could, or how he would do facing off against LeBron. And, of course, Mike being who he is, he had to weigh in on that. We're going to talk about a couple of NBA surveys involving some rookies. I think it was one survey that the rookies took of who their favorite players in the league were. And then we'll also take a look at where some of the rookies are projected to finish awards-wise for the 2015-2016 season. And then the centerpiece of today's Hoops and Hops is actually a discussion, because it's thin right now. You know, the NBA calendar is a little thin.
We are in the doles of summer,
right? So we thought, being Pistons fans, how great would it be to take a look and see what the bad boy Pistons, would they be better than the 04 Pistons? And that 04,
go to work Pistons, go to work.
Right. That 04 Pistons, that's probably what, 03 to 09, about that time period,
roughly. And
the bad boys are obviously from about 81 to maybe 91.
It's 80. It was 88 to 92. Okay. Probably.
Well, it all started.
Yeah.
Back in the 81 when they drafted Z. Well, let's get into that later. Let's get into that later. But that's the rundown for today, man, for this Hoops and Hops. Hey, we appreciate you pressing play. Thank you for rocking with us for however long you can spare. Couple to kick off this intro, man. I'm excited. Today is Friday. And then it also happens to be, I thought most of our music was released on Tuesdays. But for some reason, one of my favorite groups, the Foreign Exchange, their album is live today for download purposes. So anybody that's a FE fan with Nicolay and Fonte, actually I just introduced G to the Foreign Exchange for the first time. He's very, very familiar with Little Brother, but he wasn't aware of the Foreign Exchange. So I just gave you some snippets. I don't have the new album just yet, but as soon as I get off of here, I will be enjoying Tales from the Land of Milk and Honey is the name of the album. I don't know, for some of you guys, it was available on NPR to stream earlier this week, and I like it. The album is great. It's a continuation of what they do as FE. But the only thing, man, it was a runtime of about 39 minutes.
You felt slighted? Felt like they got you on that?
I I kind of understand it because I think attention span right now is a touchy area, a slippery slope in music amongst music consumers in general. But with them continuing to gain the momentum that they've gained over the last 2 albums, I believe this is their 4th album. I just thought they would have gave us a real something to dwell with for another year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, that's always kind of debatable. I can kind of understand both sides of it. From an artist side, you want to make the best product possible, and sometimes that means less being more. But from a consumer side, I think we always want to digest more. We want 12 to 13 tracks that are going to last you at least 45 to 50 minutes.
Yeah, I'm thinking that 55 is the minimum.
Yeah.
And maybe we get just 5 to 10 minutes over an hour. But it's a tight package. I did listen to it a couple of times on the on the stream on NPR. I've been tweeting about it all week. Again, you can find me at @E_pluribus_wood. I like to hear about anybody's opinions on that record. Hey man, I'd be remiss, man, if I didn't get into our main topic, which is the hops, man. So today, right now, we're getting ready to enjoy some Hop Slam.
Yeah.
I think we've had that on maybe the first Hoops and Hops.
I think so. I'm trying to clean out the cellar.
Right. We're also going to crack open, I just filled a growler for us of some Bell's Two Hearted. So that'll be the main course.
Sure.
We'll get into that a little later. You had a great meeting last week, right? Speaking of your venture into the craft pints world, you had a step forward in you guys' process, right?
We
don't have to dig into it.
Yeah, we'll keep details of that confidential for the time being, but we met with somebody that wants to be a part of us becoming a live and established brewery, and had a good little sit down. So we'll be, once all of that is really ironed out, we'll have details of that. But for now, it's just status quo as usual. We are still in the process.
That's good. I saw a quote the other day, thought kind of reminded me of us. Nothing that's not started can't be finished. So, you guys have started. That's a big piece of it. And, you guys keep working on that. And we'll move forward. Speaking of progress and works in progress, before I get into this interview with Gus Stathis, my Redskins were on last night versus
my Lions.
Your Lions. How well is that?
Well, that first 2 quarters for y'all, it's a little rough.
I'm since Hoops and Hops is pretty much committed to basketball, I'm not going to spend a lot of time ranting on my personal team, the Redskins.
But we can talk about my guys beating up your guys. It's fine.
But we won the game, though.
Y'all won once the scrubs got in.
All I'm going to say, I would have hated to see if Ndamukong was still on the team. I mean, if y'all were putting in that type of work without Ndamukong, it looks like you all might have won on passing on that what did he get, $100 million? But it was like 58 guaranteed or something.
Yeah.
So
it was a lot to give him.
Just looking at it though, I think Griffin was a total of maybe 8 passing yards. He was like 2 of 5, a handful of possessions, left the game early with a concussion. And I saw earlier today that he hasn't been diagnosed as a concussion, but I didn't get to confirm that. I just saw Rich Tandler as one of the beat reporters. Actually, Pro Football Talk, it may have been them, but there's some thoughts out there now that nothing was really wrong with Robert, but it was a way to get him off the field without blowing up the whole season today.
Yeah, Bleacher Report said that it was a mild concussion, that they hadn't diagnosed it as anything heavy or severe. There were no level 1, level 2. It was just a mild concussion. But shout out to DeAndre Levy for putting him on his butt.
Hey man, I really after today, man, I really would like for them to move on because I don't think they're using him properly. He did make the comments earlier in the week that he was the best quarterback in the league.
And what's he supposed to say? We'll talk about that later with MJ and LeBron, but these guys are competitive athletes.
Great point.
What's he supposed to say? No, I think I'm not worth any of the money I'm being paid, and I should be relegated to the bench.
But I think what he should have said is, I'm out here I'm working hard to be the best player in the league. True. Not that I currently am. I think that's where the disconnect is. But hey, I'm just saying, when you put it out there like that, you have to go out there and back it up. And I understand that the line, because the left tackle Williams didn't play last night, but I understand that the line is suspect right now. But I remember games where, and he paid for it too, but I remember games when Peyton Manning's line wasn't playing at their best, but he still was able to play. And the last thing I'm going to say is, once the other quarterbacks on the current roster came on, they didn't have those same problems. So I don't know if the line leveled out a little bit, but I just noticed a difference in the play when the other quarterbacks are in there. But I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, but I just feel like it's not really going to happen for Robert in D.C. And I think for both parties, us as fans and the team and Robert, because they were booing him as he went off the field, from what I understand.
So do you buy into, as a Redskins fan, do you buy into the thought process that there's disarray in the locker room as far as RG3, like that the guys don't support him, that they want other guys to be their starting QB?
It would be hard for me to think that the offensive line buys into that, because we got some young talent on there that's trying to prove themselves right now. So you really can't lay down on some of these blocks and doing your job, because we got some people that are trying to become starters, or need to get really just people that need to be starters, with Moses from last year, Scherf this year. So I don't think anybody on the line can lay down, but I would think that, somebody like Garcon probably doesn't want to repeat of last year, the way that his production decreased. And I just feel like him and Cousins have a better on-field relationship. Yeah. I see Cousins hitting people in stride. But I say this, and I know I said we're going to move on. I just feel like we could really, really, really do well with a game manager. And if the defense comes together, you run the ball, but that's not really Jay Gruden's thing. I really feel like we could be a middle-of-the-road team. And, if a couple bounces go our way, we could be successful. But that's not Robert's style. But like I said, if we're booing the quarterback in the second preseason game, I just think that's it's a sign. That's a sign of what's to come week one. Because we got Oklahoma. Miami. Ndamukong Suh will be on the field.
He's going to come and hit that guy.
And I will expect him to smack some fire out of number 10 at some point in that game.
He's going to hit that guy.
He's going to hit him. So, Ray Donovan, man. Speaking of football.
Great segue.
Speaking of football, what the hell was Ray Donovan trying? Like, we got to say both of his names at once. But what was Ray doing trying to get into the big boy game? I respect the way he did it. I just want my 3%.
Right.
Because 3% of anything over $1 billion is nice.
It's getting good money.
It's good. It's good work if you can get it. It's great work if you can get it. But and we said it earlier, nobody beats Ray unless he wants them to beat Ray. Now, you didn't see the last 20 minutes of this show, I'm sorry.
Right, and
so
I